All right. Well, I want to talk a little bit about what you think is going to happen because of the protests and everything that's going on. What you think is going to come out of this? Police reform, into police violence. I don't know what you think is going to happen. Okay. But I can tell you this, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. The only thing that's going to look different is the way that the people in control of you lie about how they're controlling you. So the only thing that's going to change is just the lies that they tell you repeatedly every single day to control you. And here's one of them. Minneapolis City Council members say they plan to vote to disband city's police department. So if you're in these protests and you're in a Black Lives Matter movement or whatever, you think, wow, this is great. Look, Minneapolis is going to disband their police department. What does it actually mean? Well, first of all, the city council may not have the power to do that. The mayor may go, well, no, we're not going to do it. Sorry. Community leaders may come and say, no, we don't want that. So we understand your plan, but we're gonna see. They're just planning to vote to dismantle. So if a whole bunch of people from the community show up at the vote and say, no, we don't want that, guess what? It ain't going to happen. Now, even if it does happen, see, this is what I'm talking about. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change in your world. You're still going to be under police control. You're still going to be taxed. You're still going to have massive student loans. You're still going to have a 30-year mortgage on your house. You're still going to have to pay off your car payment. You're still going to be massively in debt. You're still going to be living paycheck to paycheck. You're still going to have all your resources controlled. Nothing's going to change in your world. Now, let's just say Minneapolis did disband their police department. Well, in Camden, New Jersey, they disbanded their police department 7 years ago. And guess what happened next? Well, first off, 100 officers were rehired. So first off, when they disbanded it, I don't know how many there were, but 100 of them got back on the payroll. Okay? Now, the only thing that's going to happen is, and I'm going to show you this. This is West Hollywood, California. It's in the middle of LA. All this stuff is Los Angeles. All Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles, Mount Olympus. There's houses up here, houses Hollywood Hills, houses all. These are all Los Angeles. So if you get robbed up here in this hill, you call LAPD. Now West Hollywood is right in the middle, and the Sunset Strip runs right through West Hollywood. It's its own city. It's not Los Angeles. It's West Hollywood, California. Now guess who you call when you get robbed in West Hollywood? Guess who writes you a ticket for DUI on the Sunset Strip? Guess whose jurisdiction West Hollywood is? The county sheriff. So West Hollywood has no police force. Beverly Hills, right here, has a police force. Beverly Hills Police. West Hollywood doesn't have its own police force. So who shows up there? The county sheriff. So with no police force, a town massively populated, right in the middle of a huge city, its own city called West Hollywood, has no police force. There is no police brutality by West Hollywood cops. They don't exist. Who controls it? The county. The county sheriff. The county sheriff shows up there and barks orders at you, sets up roadblocks, arrests people for DUI, stops fights, whatever they do, violence is you. So if you look at Camden City got disbanded, but look, a Camden County officer. So now the county goes, well, you disbanded your police force, right? Okay, how many people were on it? Let's say 200. Okay, we need to just beef up our county police force by 200 then. They rehire the 100 officers that got off the Camden City Police Department, put them on the Camden County Police Department, and then guess where you are? In the same boat you were before they disbanded. So if you think that in Minneapolis, if they do disband the police department, that you ain't going to have cops over you, you have to think again. You're being controlled. Cops have nothing to do with community safety. I've pointed this out hundreds of times. Cops have nothing to do with keeping you safe. Cops have nothing to do with protecting your property. Cops have nothing to do with stopping you from getting killed. They have nothing to do with it. They are here to control you. And they are put here by a cult called the Black Death Cult. People who rule the world. The cop is 6 places removed from this Black Death Cult member. The Black Death Cult member controls 6 different walls, and the last one is the cop. The one that you see every day in your community is the cop. These Black Death Cult members hide. They're deep undercover. They are deep in the background. You never get to hear about these guys. They're the 0.0001%. And they're controlling you every single second of every single day. You're the resource that they live off of. And if you get out of line, they will threaten you with violence you, threaten to kill you, or kill you. It's that simple. It's that simple. So the police force is never going to be dismantled. Never. Because that is one of the biggest arms of control the Black Death Cult has, the police and the military. It just used to be the military. And people in the Black Death Cult just doing whatever they wanted because there was no real serious laws as there is now, code and city code and all this stuff. That didn't exist. If a slave trader back in the day, if a slave trader, and I don't mean 1600s, I mean Roman slave trader, Greek slave trader, wanted to kill you, wanted to take you as a slave, and you didn't go, and he killed you, nobody cared. There was nothing. That's how they controlled you. They just killed you. They didn't care. Sumerian slave traders, they didn't care about you. They would kill you in a second. Black Death Cult.
We are unavailable
Now,
to take your call. Please leave a message. Thank you for calling.
Now, in the modern day, the Black Death Cult is controlling you through resources, number one. Okay? And how do they control the resources? Well, let's just say, for instance, if there's a fresh water supply, the only fresh water supply like an oasis in the desert, right? They stand in front of it, or they put their buddy in front of it, and they tell you, you can't drink this water, it's mine. Now, why can't you drink the water? Could you drink the water without the Black Death Cult member standing in front of it? Could you drink it? Of course you could. Nature made it very easy for you to exist, okay? Everything you need to exist is given to you by nature, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. A gorilla literally rolls over and just starts eating. He doesn't have to do anything. So you go to get your water. What's stopping you from doing it? Nothing. Nothing. You can drink as much water as nature gives you. Except in this world controlled by the Black Death Cult. Because they stand in front of the water supply and they say, you can't have it. Well, wait a minute. Why? Because I'll violence you if you try. If you try to get this water, I'll violence you or my buddies will violence you. That's how they rule the world. Think about it. In a king's kingdom, he has a forest. Now, if you went into that forest and killed a rabbit, just a rabbit, and ate it, you would be guilty of stealing from the king. Nowadays, they call it what? Poaching. And the king is just a county, a city, a state, and the king has a game warden, which is what you're seeing right now. A game warden will come and ticket you or arrest you or take your gun or take your quarry, your kill. And it comes from a king saying he owns everything in the forest. Not just the forest, not just the land itself, okay? Which they're controlling too. They're controlling the land, the water, the food. And this is how they do it. Okay, you took a rabbit out of the forest, right? Okay, come with me. They just beat the shit out of you. Who do you think does that? The sheriff, the officials, people who are with the king, his buddies, the government. So why can't you kill a rabbit? Well, you can. Anybody who can go kill a rabbit can do it. The reason why you can't do it is because the Black Death Cult is standing between you and your rabbit. Now just take that with any resource. The Black Death Cult is standing between you and your water supply. The Black Death Cult is standing between you and your food supply. The Black Death Cult is standing between you and your money supply. They made money. They own money. They print money. They're the ones who control money. So anytime you want money, you have to abide by their rules, their ideas, their structures on how to get it. Anytime you want water, you have to go by their way of getting it. Anytime you want food from a natural resource standpoint, you have to go by their way of getting it. Period. They're standing between you and every resource, and they're threatening you with violence if you get it. In other words, if I go out and kill, let's just say, 10 deer for my family, I got a big family. The Black Death Cult can say, well, sorry, you can't do that because there's a 2-deer limit. You only kill 2 deer. Why? Because if you kill more, we will violence you. We will fine you. If you don't pay the fine, we will come get you. The fine will double. The fine will triple. And then when it's tripled, if you don't pay it, we'll have a warrant out for your arrest to understand why you're not paying it. And if you don't come with us, well, we come to take you and kidnap you at gunpoint. You will or could possibly die. And if you refuse to pay it, we'll lock you up in jail. We'll take your life away. Because the Black Death Cult is standing between you and every resource. And if you think that if you think that you can heal the world with love and music, and if you think that ignoring the Black Death Cult and you think just living your life in some mystical fashion, in some way that, oh, wow, everything's okay, everything's great, oh, no, we all love each other and we'll just overcome it. Black Death Cult does not play that. They do not play that. It's a perfect example. This woman, Naomi, says, she knows nothing of borders and cares nothing for rules and customs. Her life flows clean with passion like fresh water. Now, I'm not going to interpret this for her and say, well, she means this and this. But what I'm going to say is, if you know nothing of borders and you don't care for rules and customs, you're perfect. That's exactly the way the Black Death Cult wants you, because then they can totally control you without your knowledge. So if Naomi thinks that she's going to go right here to this border and she knows nothing about it, she knows nothing about a border, right? She knows nothing of borders. Okay, great. When you approach this line right here that you can't see, by the way, that the Black Death Cult draws on the ground, once again, they're standing between you and this land right here So if you're a United States citizen, right, and then you're trying to go to this land down here, could you do it without a border? People do it all the time. They just walk over. You could do it, no problem. Why can't you do it? Because there's a guy standing there with a gun telling you you have to have the certain credentials, you have to have certain documents, you have to have certain voyous to get across there. So this girl who shows up there and says, oh, I want to walk right here. No, you can't do it. No, sorry, ma'am. You can't come over here. Well, why not? Well, you need a passport. What's that? See, she's ignorant. She doesn't know anything about borders. Is she going to get stopped here? 100%. So she knows nothing about borders. When she goes from Oklahoma, where medical marijuana is permitted, and she has her medical marijuana, she doesn't know anything about borders, and she goes into what the Black Death Cult calls the state of Texas, and she has her medical marijuana, guess what? She just crossed a border into a different state that has different laws, and she can be arrested for a felony offense of depending upon how much weed she has, for having weed. She can be arrested for having weed in Texas. Even though in Oklahoma, you can have it medically. So she knows nothing about, I know nothing about rules and customs. Meaning, I don't know about the rules of Texas. You don't have to. They'll arrest you and put you in jail and show them to you. They'll teach them to you the hard way. They'll take you to jail. Oh, you don't know nothing about our rules in Texas? No problem. Let us explain them to you. You brought weed in, you're under arrest. So if you think, love and protesting and singing and tweeting and knowing nothing about borders and rules, I'm just going to be a free person, you are never going to be free. The way things are set up right now by the Black Death Cult, you are never going to be free. Control is getting tighter. And this is another thing about these cops is this is all based upon human beings being cops. In the future, human beings are not going to be cops. They will have AI robots being cops. 100% guaranteed. 100% guaranteed. They may have a few live people, every now and then on scene. But every bit of lawmaking is going to be, every bit of law enforcement, every bit of enforcing the king's rules, enforcing the king's laws is going to be done by AI-powered robots. Artificially intelligent powered robots. All of it. All of it. And you're going to have zero recourse. There ain't going to be a chokehold. There's going to be hooks that go around your neck like this that are set to a certain degree that you cannot get choked by the robot. But you ain't going anywhere. And if you don't follow it when it walks, you could die. And when you die at the hands of a robot, who's going to be held responsible? Nobody. Not one person is going to get held responsible. So even if they do dismantle the police force, even if they do lighten the laws on them, even if they do start prosecuting cops, doesn't matter. Because you're going to be controlled in the future with robots, AI robots, and nobody's going to be responsible for them. They're artificially intelligent. They're running on their own program. So in this world that you live in, where you think everything's hunky-dory and we're going to heal the world with love and music and we're going to protest and we're all together and no. You're going to change nothing. You're not going to change anything. This is drawn out. This has already been drawn out for 250 years. Or so. Over here it got drawn out. Now all this is drawn out later, and it's going to stay that way for as long as they can keep it going. And they being the Black Death Cult. As long as the Black Death Cult can keep this grid that you're on going, where you're under their complete control, they are going to do it. And everything they do the Black Death cult is to tighten their grip on your control, the control of you. Everything they do is working towards more control of you, more control of your resources, more control of your time, more control of your money, more control of your land, more control of your food, more control of your water, more control of your life. Everything. So if you think anything is going to change from what happened, you're wrong. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you are completely mistaken in that idea. Nothing is going to change, and it's going to get worse.